Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spurs Up Show, best Gamecocks podcast on the internet. Today is Monday, February the 1st, 2021, and on today's show, let's talk it out. South Carolina goes on the road, loses to Vanderbilt 93-81. Commodores getting their first SEC win. Gamecocks now sitting here wondering, confusion, what in the world, where do we go from here? I'll try to break it all down, guys, and really I'll vent with you here on a Monday. Also, your listener questions, of course, and I've got a great conversation lined up for today, guys. A guy that I've been wanting to get him on the show for a while. We've talked about it for a while. We manifested this. Ben Upton of the 11.7 podcast. You might be asking yourself, Chris, what is the 11.7 podcast? So they focus on college baseball. And I figure with us being 17 days away, a little bit over 2 weeks away from opening day, what better way to bring it in than talk to Ben Upton of the 11.7 podcast. Again, we talk about a little bit of everything: college baseball, Gamecock baseball, Major League Baseball, his playing days, his show, all that good stuff. Got a fantastic show lined up, guys, for you here on a Monday, and it's all brought to you by our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. Guys, Upstate Movers Group, superior moving service. They bring care and attention other companies can't offer because they're just too busy maintaining trucks and profiting off of them instead of focusing on service. Guys, service is what separates Upstate Movers Group from the competition. They're not a trucking company, by the way. They are a moving services company, and they're also employee-owned co-op. Their movers are paid twice the industry average, and everyone on the crew is invested in your success, guys. They have dedicated professional crew members, and they also offer black glove service. They offer end-to-end packing services, custom crating and packaging for special items, and cleaning services as well. They are founded by Greenville natives and University of South Carolina alumni, guys, so a Gamecock-owned small business. They also offer 20 years of project management moving experience, and they can offer logistics and solutions that traditional moving companies simply do not have the skills for. Guys, whether you're in the upstate or across the state of South Carolina, if you have any moving needs in 2021, be sure to check out my friends over at Upstate Movers Group. Guys, of course, you can find them on social media at Upstate Movers Group, or if you have any more questions, concerns, whatever, go to their website, upstatemoversgroup.com. That is upstatemoversgroup.com. Guys, be sure to check them out and tell them Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Let's get it.
"15 minutes could save you 15% or more."
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Okay, Therapy Monday it is. I really thought we'd be sitting here on a Monday morning or a Monday afternoon or whenever you're tuned in. I really thought we'd be sitting here on a Monday chatting on a more positive note, talking about how this Gamecocks basketball team got back to 500 in SEC play and did it impressively and took care of a hapless Vanderbilt team that hadn't won a single conference game. There's only won, I think 4 conference games in the last 2 years or something, 3 years. But that is not the case. Folks, first things first, hope you're all doing well. Happy February, by the way. February the 1st, 2021. And the thing, if you want a little bit of joy into your Monday, into your start off with February, if you want a little bit of joy, hey, look on the bright side. Gamecock baseball starts this month. We sit here 17 days away from opening day. Obviously, guys, I'll continue along with the season preview series tomorrow and Thursday, most likely, breaking down Gamecocks positions, the position unit previews and stuff going into opening day. Really, really excited to continue and do that. I think we've got shortstops and third baseman this week. So really exciting stuff. But again, we got to start with, and we got to focus on, I was thinking to myself before I went live, I was like, I don't know if this conversation is going to be 5 minutes or 5 hours. I don't know if I have nothing to say or a ton to say after that game on Saturday. Again, Vandy 93, South Carolina 81. Just going down the stats first. Let's talk stats first. Gamecock shot 50% from the floor, 43% from three. A good shooting night. Again, 64% from free throws. Whatever. That is Gamecock basketball at this point. But overall, pretty solid offensive night. You had a guy like A.J. Lawson with 21. Seventh Woods had 11. Justin Minaya had 11. Trey Hannibal had 10, played a really good game. Keyshawn Bryant had 13. On the flip side, Vandy shot 49% from the field and 39% from three-point range. You take a look at this game again. I don't even know that I have the words, guys. I really don't. I really don't, because this is why I told you guys, by the way, I wasn't picking South Carolina to win again. And of course, I slipped up. I gave the Gamecocks the benefit of the doubt, and I picked them to win the basketball game. And I should have known better. I really, really should have known better. Again, do you want to blame it on COVID? Is that what we're going to do after every single loss, is blame it on COVID? Is that what we're going to do, guys? Is that what we're going to do after every single loss? Vanderbilt, guys, led this game at one point by 26. Do you realize that? 26. I mean, sure, South Carolina, tried to come back in the second half and lost by 12, which is insane that I'm trying to make that sound better. Heck, you were a 5-point favorite. And again, we're talking about a Vandy team that hadn't won a conference game. They now sit 5-8 overall, 1-6 in the conference. Meanwhile, South Carolina, 4-6 overall, 2-4 in the conference. Again, what is there really to say? I said it Saturday night after the game, which, yes, guys, I had a couple of beverages, was out and about. We had our watch party, and honestly, watching this team, you need as many as you can get. You need as many cold beverages as you can get watching this group of guys. So I was fine, but, was a couple beers deep. I'm not going to lie to you. But as I said Saturday night, and I've said before, our basketball program, certainly our team this year, but our basketball program is not good enough for the common fan to care, to invest their time, to invest their emotion, to invest their resources. And you guys probably saw it on social media, people talking about, I didn't even watch the game. Because what's the point? We have reached that level of apathy. We've reached it. Whether this is a COVID season or it's not a COVID season, guys, again, at some point, you got to stop pinning losses on COVID. You got to stop pinning losses on not practicing. You got to stop pinning losses on guys being out when most of your team is available. I mean, guys, again, if that's going to be the excuse game after game after game, just can't, then we'll just stop talking about the games. What's the point? When you take the expectation to win out of sports, that is a sad spot to be in. And I will get it out of the way. I'm not saying fire Frank Martin yet again. I'm really, really not. I'm not. But the reality is the Gamecock basketball program is a joke. It's a joke. Cool. We made a Final Four. That's awesome. That's great. It was a great run. Special. Hey, I went thrift shopping over the weekend, found a sick program from the 2016-2017 basketball season. Really cool. Got it in the studio now. Really nice. I mean, I've also still got the newspaper from when South Carolina advanced to the Final Four. That's a great memory. But in no capacity is this program at this current time at a good spot. It's not. And again, I'm not saying that firing Frank Martin would be the solution. I'm really not. But I'm just calling as I see it. I'm just making the point that this basketball program is broken, flat out. And again, you can hit me with every excuse in the book about Gamecock basketball. Oh, Chris, remember Darren Horn, remember this, remember that, our tradition, our history. That's totally fine. But again, there are other schools out there that are not basketball schools, that are not blue bloods, that are finding a way to win games and win at enough of a clip to be ranked, to go to the tournament, you name it. They're figuring out a way to do it. Because, again, we could dive into this game from Saturday with Vandy, the X's and O's, and, this team did this, they're showing improvement. No, bro, you got blasted by a bad Vandy team. There's no way to spin what we saw Saturday. No way. No way. There's no way to spin it. You lost to a bad Vanderbilt team. It's a horrid loss. And you can, I don't know if there was any doubt before this game. You can officially kiss those tournament hopes goodbye if there were any at all. I mean, I don't know that there were with the way this season has gone, how it started, whatever. But if there were any remaining tournament hopes, you can kiss those goodbye. Again, you like what A.J. Lawson did, 21 points. I'm really looking for positives. But again, one of my keys to the game, slow down Scottie Pippen Jr. You knew going in he was their one guy. He was really their one guy. 23 points, 8 for 8 from the free throw line, 6 of 10 overall field goals, 3 of 5 from three-point range. Dude, this freaking Maxwell Evans, where did he come from? 29 points. Dessou was 17. I mean, this is not a good Vandy team, guys. They only had 2 players coming in, Dessou and Pippen Jr., averaging double-digit points. Only 2 guys. I mean, there's just no way to spin it. The defense, I mean, my God, how in the world is this the same team we saw against Georgia? How? Just how? How can that be? It doesn't make sense. And I feel like, guys, I dare I make this comparison. I feel like Gamecock basketball is very much in a similar spot that Gamecock football was in the 2020 season. Or just the state of the program, if that makes sense. I'm not saying the seasons have gone exactly the same, but the state of the program. And the state of the program is this. Gamecock basketball in the last, we'll say 5-6 years, you want to say the decade, whatever, has had some decent moments, has had some success, has had some success. But overall, it is a program of mediocrity that is marred by inconsistency and falling short of expectations. Like I said after the Auburn game, you're at a crossroads as a basketball program. And again, I am not saying to pull out the axe after this crazy COVID season. I'm not trying to use it as an excuse, but it's a real thing. It's been a reality. But you're at a crossroads as a program. Do you want to be a team that year in, year out competes for the tournament? Again, somebody on social media, dude, just going off about this on Twitter, talking about the expectations and this. I don't think South Carolina fans have even close to unrealistic expectations. Not even close. There is no Gamecock basketball fan that is saying that, the next coach or whenever that happens, the next coach has got to make the tournament every single year. Nobody's saying that. But making it once every 3 or 4 years, that feels really doable at South Carolina, guys. That feels more than fair. And I would say for every single sport on campus, the minimum expectation should be to make the postseason in some capacity. Are you going to make the tournament every year? Absolutely not. But, dude, making the NIT? Bro, you should never miss the NIT. Are you going to have that every now and then year where things don't? Hey, yeah, everybody has those years, or most everybody does. But the minimum expectation for any sport on campus should never be shorter than missing the postseason. Making the postseason should be the minimum expectation, no doubt. And this basketball program, like I said, it's just got to take a long, hard look in the mirror and decide what it wants to be. Because, again, I understand the challenges at South Carolina. I understand it's difficult. And I understand this season has been topsy-turvy. Can you really judge? I guess not. Again, and that's frustrating for me because, okay, season's a wash. Okay, this doesn't matter. Oh, COVID. Oh, that. They're still going out there and playing the games, guys. If there's already a built-in excuse to lose, then what is the point? Why are we even watching the games? Why am I even talking about it? Is baseball going to get the same excuse? Will Muschamp didn't get the excuse, not saying he should have. Hey, football certainly didn't get the excuse. Why is basketball getting a free pass in this? I know they were out because of COVID. We all understand what's going on. But, dude, at some point, as you get further away from the COVID stuff, people missing, and you can, I feel like you can tell that I'm not I'm not nearly the diehard basketball fan that I am the diehard football fan when it comes to the Gamecocks. Because if I was a diehard basketball fan, I probably would be saying fire Frank Martin. I really would. But there's a couple of reasons why I'm not, and you guys know a lot of the reasons. I really just don't have the freaking energy to do it again. Because, again, like I said before, being the Fire Muschamp guy was exhausting. It really was. It really, really was. I also don't think there's a clear guy out there where it's like, oh, we got a fireman and we're going to upgrade. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that guy exists. I don't know. But I will tell you this, and again, I don't know if it's going to come this year. I don't know if it's going to come next year or the following. We're definitely on the back end of the Martin tenure at Carolina. There's no question. We're on the back end. Like, it's closer to being over than it is from the start. You know what I mean? I will say this. If Frank Martin's the head coach at South Carolina in 5 years, I would be utterly shocked. I really, really would. I'd be shocked. Okay. But, people bring up great points about this program, the challenges and stuff like that. But I honestly think whenever that time happens, again, I don't know if it'll be this year, next year, whatever, I want to see Gamecock basketball do exactly what football has done. Roll the dice. Because people love to ask, who are you going to replace him with? Who are you going to replace him with? Who are you going to replace him with? Bro, you don't stay in a bad relationship with a girl because you don't know who the next girl's going to be, or vice versa with a guy, whatever. If you're a female out there listening, like, you don't keep yourself in a bad situation because of future uncertainties. You just don't do it. And I just feel like, again, Frank Martin is very well liked across the Gamecocks fan base. Like, I mean, dude, he is by far the most defended coach on campus outside of Dawn Staley. The most defend. You can't say a single negative word, single critical word about this guy, even if it's true, without the Frank Martin stands coming out of the woodworks. Man, I've had to mute so many people on Twitter because I say one thing about Martin, just blowing up the mentions. It's like, okay, you obviously cannot handle criticism very well. Okay, be on your way. No biggie. So Frank Martin is still really liked in the Gamecock fan base, which is great. But whether you love the guy or you hate the guy, or you want to justify that, oh, this run of the last 5-6 years has been great, and I'm not saying it hasn't. Like, the basketball program has very much improved since Martin took over. But with all that being said, I feel like you're getting to a point in the program where it's like, it just feels very stagnant. You know what I mean? Like, very stale. There is no excitement. Like, are people excited to watch Gamecock basketball anymore? I think the answer is kind of obvious. It's just so and again, a game like Saturday in Nashville literally summarizes what Gamecock fans have been dealing with and it ain't just this year, last 3-4 years. 2-3 years, whatever. Since 2017, the Final Four run that you didn't take advantage. I'll ask you this. I love posing this question. And again, you can't take it away. This is all hypothetical. But I just wonder in my own mind, would Frank Martin be the coach here if they'd have went to the tournament that year and lost to Marquette in the first game? Like, would he still be the coach here? Really? Like, would the approval rating be what it is? Because again, I said it after Auburn, and I'll continue to say it. I understand where a lot of Gamecock fans are coming from, in the sense that for a lot of you guys, for a lot of Gamecock fans in general, that Final Four was the highlight of their USC fandom. Literally, it stands above everything else, and that is totally fair. But this program, like where it's at right now, and again, whatever. You want to say the season's a wash, fine. Like, whatever. Say it's a wash. Say it's a wash. Totally fine. Why are we even suiting up to play? Why are we cutting on the TV to watch? I don't know, but apparently it's a wash. Like I said, wasn't a wash for football. Hey, it ain't going to be a wash for Mark Kingston. I can tell you that right now. Hey, Carolina baseball don't make the postseason this year. Y'all going to give him a pass too? And again, I'm not trying to like shit on basketball today. But, hey, that's why I love Gamecock baseball, because, hey, it's the one sport on campus, again, outside of the women's side of things, on the women's basketball team. Baseball is the one sport on campus that has actual expectations and standards of winning. Bottom line, there ain't no gray area. With Gamecock baseball, you are either going to Omaha or you are getting fired. Bottom line. And that's what makes it great. Having expectations is what makes anything great. It's what makes sports great. The fun is in the winning. If winning wasn't the point, they wouldn't keep score. You know what I mean? again, like I said, we could really talk about the X's and O's of Saturday, and this is what Vandy did. Or maybe they're better than. I'm sure there are shows out there, people out there, whatever, that will try to sell that to you that Vandy was better than we expected, and then maybe South Carolina this. No, we just lost a bad Vandy team, bro. We got dominated. I mean, Vandy did to South Carolina what I thought South Carolina do to Vandy. Really, honestly. And you can talk about, oh, man, well, the gym's stupid, like the depth percent. Bro, you're a basketball player. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. Yeah, they're basketball players, man. Come on. I think pretty much everybody on that roster's played there before. Like, give me a break, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, come on. They're basketball players. Don't use the gym as an excuse. Again, I like Coach Martin. Coach Martin has done great things for this basketball program. And again, I am not saying firing him is the solution, and I'm not saying to fire him. I do not. I will let somebody else carry the torch this time, unless it gets to a point where it's blatantly obvious and there needs to be a change. But it probably won't happen for me this season because I think this team this season will continue to be up and down. It'll continue to be inconsistent. You'll never know what you're going to get. Hey, knowing this team, we're probably going to go beat Florida. Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever when we play. We'll probably go beat Florida at their place. It'll make no sense, but we'll do it. I think that'll probably continue to happen. But you just can't deny the state of the basketball program and where it's at. I mean, people aren't even apathy. Apathy set in. Apathy has fully set in, folks. So buckle up. It makes me question, like, should I not be going in on these guys? Like, am I being too harsh? Again, we're not asking to go win a title. We just don't want to lose to Vandy by double digits. We don't want to get dominated by an 0-6 SEC team. It's beyond words frustrating. It's beyond words frustrating. I don't know. Where does Gamecock basketball go from here? Because again, like I said, I think it's going to continue in the sense where this team is extremely inconsistent. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat Florida. I really wouldn't, because we saw it again from Auburn to Georgia to Vandy. You just never know what you're going to get with this team. And again, this year will be labeled as the COVID year. It'll be a wash. Martin's coming, but no big deal. Whatever. Martin will come back. We'll do it all over again next year. We'll strap up and do it all over again next year. And that'll be totally fine and dandy and whatever. But yeah, guys, I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I don't know what the answers are. I don't know how you can be so bad, how you can be so inconsistent and so good one night defensively and then so bad the next. So bad. Laughably bad. And I'm really trying to be nice and not go in on a couple of players on the team, because there's a couple of guys, one in particular, that I'm not even going to say his name, how this dude continues to be in the starting five is baffling. It's so baffling. It's so baffling. It really is. You guys know who I'm talking about. It's very obvious who I'm talking about. But again, like I said, as a whole, I don't know. Again, you can continue to use COVID as a crutch and the lack of practice time. But again, the more games this team plays without interruptions, like the farther we're getting away from the whole COVID stuff. And at the end of the day, it's still basketball. Like, you just can't tell me, like, Vandy is more talented than Carolina. Like, I don't believe that. Like, they have one good player. They have one good player. And you just let them take you to the woodshed. I mean, 52 to 37 and a half. You gave up 52 points and a half to a team that hadn't won an SEC game, that came in averaging like 71 points. I mean, it's insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, I wish I was coming today with some answers. I don't have them. I simply don't. I'm just along for the ride like you guys. I don't have any answers. I don't have any deep insight on this guy. I'm just as confused as you guys are, dazed and confused. I feel like exactly how I felt last Monday after you lost to Auburn. I mean, honestly, just don't. Where do we go from here? Okay, Where do you go from here? Because, I mean, like I said, that you had that week of Georgia and Vandy, and you felt like, hey, man, we can go 2-0 this week. We'll get back to 500, blah, 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 whatever. You felt good. You're like, okay, we took care of business against UGA. We'll do it against Vanderbilt, whatever. We'll take advantage of these lesser teams. Lesser teams, quote unquote. Yeah, that's a good one. Lesser teams. No, we are the lesser team. We're the lesser team. But now you look. Wednesday, you go to Gainesville to take on Florida. That's probably an L. Saturday, you got Mississippi State at home. Maybe that'll be interesting. Then the next Tuesday, you got Alabama. Ooh, buddy. They're having a hell of a season. Then you got Ole Miss at Tennessee, Mizzou at Mississippi State at Georgia, and then Arkansas to close it out. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, after Auburn again, can this season, what can you really salvage out of this season? I don't know. I really don't. I think this season, again, most fans are saying it's a wash. Maybe I should just say it's a wash. Maybe I should just kind of take the emotion out of it, honestly. I mean, why care? Why care if there's already a built-in excuse to lose? Why care? So, again, this is the reality, though, of the Gamecock basketball program. Where we sit right now, the way you feel, the way fans feel, that's the reality. We're a painfully average program with, again, a coach that's brought us a little bit of success. The Final Four run was incredible. Nobody's denying it. But we're a painfully average and inconsistent program right now. Bottom line. And, again, I truly don't think Gamecock fans are asking for the world here. And again, Martin's not going to get fired this season, guys. Martin is not going to get fired. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there right now. COVID, you just paid your freaking football coach $13 million. And I know the boosters paid, but still, you paid all this money to get your football coach out. I mean, it's not happening. It's not. So me holding the torch of the fire Frank Martin thing would be pointless anyways. But, it's not happening. So, but where do we go from here? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I mean, I guess we'll just strap it up and do it again Wednesday. But, I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. That was a pitiful, embarrassing loss. I mean, just no other way to put it. So, I don't know. What do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We got 9 SEC games left and 3 that are supposed to be rescheduled. I guess all you can say at this point, guys, let's just have fun. Let's just have fun watching them because, again, obviously the COVID excuse is built in already. The season's a wash. Oh, whatever, Okay. All right. That's what it is. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I could, like I said, I could go on all day just with it's baffling. It's just mind-blowing to think we lost by 12 to Vandy. And again, we were down by 26 at one point. The game was never even in doubt. The game was a joke. And this program right now is a joke, honestly. So you got to find a way to get the fan base back. Bottom line, again, people can sugarcoat it. People can defend Martin, defend. That's totally fine. And this is not me saying fire Frank Martin, but you need to get out of your feelings. If a statement like this hurts you, Frank Martin's got to find a way to get the fan base back. Bottom line. I mean, hey. He can bitch and moan and complain about, a football spring practice gets more coverage than my game. Bro, this is a football school. Bottom line. Hell, it's more of a baseball school than it is a basketball school, Frank. If you don't like it, boo-hoo, go somewhere else. You got to win on the hardwood. You got to put out a product for fans to care. Bottom line, sorry, is what it is. That's the case for 95% of the other SEC schools. You got to win. You got to put a product on the floor for fans to give a damn. In the SEC, you just have to. You just flat out have to. So something's got to happen. Something's got to give, man. Something has to give. Bottom line. Okay, let's move to your listener questions. Like I said, I could go all day. This, guys, like I said, this is really just a Monday therapy, just a vent session. So you guys leave your, your whatever you want in the comments, whatever. I'm sure there'll be plenty of them today. But get it out. It's best to get it out. Don't keep it bottled up. Just get it out. Let the anger flow, and we'll have a hell of a Monday. All right, we got a couple listener questions. Mike.Edwards07, who would you like to see replace Kitchings? I thought, honestly, Corey Boyd. I would. Marcus Lattimore, sure, but I think Corey Boyd would be awesome, man. But whatever. Whoever Shane Beamer brings in, I'll feel really good about. From people I've actually talked to in the building, I even asked, like, hey, you know who the new running backs coach is going to be? They're like, man, Shane has kept that thing sealed tight. This man can keep a secret. So, selfishly Corey Boyd, because he played at Carolina, but whatever. Whoever Coach Beamer goes with, hey, listen, whoever the running backs coach is, they're in a great spot because you got Marshawn Lloyd and Kevin Harris. That's boom, 1-2. Got your bell cows back there. They're going to have a lot of fun coaching those guys up. Last question here. Austin G_45. With Kevin Harris emerging as RB1, what does Marshawn Lloyd's role look like? And that's a great question, and that will certainly be one of the lead storylines going in this 2021 football season. I'm telling you guys, though, love Kevin Harris. The bus. Love the dude. Fantastic player. But I'm telling you guys, if Marshawn Lloyd is the dude that he was advertised to be, like if he comes back fully healthy and is still, for the most part himself, if you will, dude, I think he's probably going to be the starter. Maybe not the first game, but if he's truly that dude, and again, I've talked to guys that, one in particular, a player on the team who's still on the team, by the way. I talked to him about this. He said, dude, Marshawn Lloyd is that guy. Like he's the real deal. Which is exciting. That's not a bad thing. That's not dissing Kevin Harris at all. Hell, that's a great thing. If you're telling me there's a guy on campus, there's a guy in that room that's better than Kevin Harris, and he just ran for 1,000, that's a great problem to have, man. So, listen, I don't know. It's going to be more of a 1A, 1B situation anyways. Like, I don't even think it's going to be RB1, RB2. It's 1A, 1B. They're going to use both guys a ton. Both guys are going to play. Both guys are going to play a lot. How are they going to divvy up the carries? I don't know. I think it'll probably come down to they'll feel it out game by game. Whoever gets hot, gets hot. Whoever's got the hot hand, give it to him. Whoever's feeling it that day, give it to him. So, some days you might see Kevin with 25 carries and Marshawn with 11 or 12, and some days it might flip. But both of those guys are going to be, literally the focal points of the offense. Again, I know everybody loves to talk about the spread and the Oklahoma and the air raid. We're going to run the football a lot, guys, and we should. It's the strength of our team. We should run the ball. Again, find creative ways to do so, but we're in a great spot when it comes to running backs. So, again, guys, thanks for the listener questions. Appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, appreciate you guys dealing with my rambling and my rant today. Now, got a great conversation. Like I said, in the spirit of baseball, it is February the 1st, and we have Gamecock baseball this month. 18 days from opening day. If I said 17 days earlier, I apologize. 18 days from opening day, 2.5 weeks, and we literally have opening day for Gamecock baseball. This is a conversation, again, that I've been manifesting for a while. Chatted with this guy a couple of times, and I think I'm probably planning on going on his show at some point as well. But Ben Upton of the 11.7 podcast, guys, and the relevance of that 11.7 name, you'll have to hear in the show. But yeah, 11.7 podcast, talking college baseball. Again, we break down everything from college baseball as a whole to his playing days, to kind of what inspired him to start doing the show, to, of course, Gamecock baseball. We talked about it all. So, again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. Daily Crow and podcast all week this week is normal. I will do a pregame show Wednesday and Saturday for the basketball games as well. But, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Now, enjoy this interview with Ben Upton of the 11.7 podcast. All right, joining us today on the Spurs Up Show. Very excited for this conversation. Obviously, guys, normally we're bringing on Carolina athletes or former athletes or coaches or what have you. But on the show today, again, a guy I've been wanting to get on for a while. And I thought in the spirit of opening day being literally 18 days away, just 2.5 weeks until first pitch at Founders Park, figured why not get him on, let him talk about his baseball knowledge a little bit, and help show Ben Upton of the 11.7 podcast. Again, Ben and I, you've probably seen us going back and forth on Twitter a bunch. We follow each other on social media, have followed each other for a while now. And obviously you guys do a great job talking college baseball. And again, obviously, Ben, you're a baseball dude, which I think definitely sets you. I feel like you guys are kind of in the college baseball space where I am in the South Carolina space. Just guys being dudes, being real natural and organic with it and kind of letting it flow. But again, without further ado, Ben Upton. Ben, appreciate you taking the time, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. I'm glad we're able to do this.
Yeah, man. Chris, it's a pleasure to come on the show. I'm a longtime listener. I followed you, on Twitter about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. Really,
I was like, this kid's got something. He's good. And my favorite part about you, Chris, is like you don't back down from anybody on Twitter. And I've seen some people give it to you now. And you're telling them the truth, and they don't like it. They don't like hearing you talk about the Cox being bad at such and such sport, or they need to do this, they need to do that. I mean, are you still blocked by Will Muschamp? By the way,
Will Muschamp didn't block me. It was Gamecock football.
Oh, that's right.
That was the workings of Justin King. I know that for a fact. So, no, Muschamp never blocked me, which was shocking, to be honest with you.
But that stuff gets me fired up, Chris. Like, I love how you don't just conform to the popular opinion. I'm a big believer in just speaking the truth. And if you're going to make a name for yourself, you might as well do it in what you believe in. So I appreciate you, and I'm happy to be on the show.
No, Ben, appreciate the words, man. Like, yeah, you definitely make a great point. If you ever want some Twitter entertainment, go to @the_Spurs_Up or @CPhilly19 even, and you'll certainly get a dose of it. But now, man, let's jump into it. Obviously, again, the 11.7 podcast, again, focus on college baseball. Obviously, you guys talk a lot of SEC. Heck, you're right in the heart of SEC country, right? You're in Georgia, right?
Yeah, just about an hour south of Atlanta.
Okay.
And, obviously we have to spend a good bit of our time on the SEC just because the talent in the SEC is head over heels better than anybody else.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'll have no problem saying that.
Yeah, I was going to say, just take a second to plug the show because, again, obviously you guys focus on you and your co-host, by the way. Yeah. I don't want to leave. It's Dimitri, right? I don't want to leave Dimitri out, but just kind of talk about the show. I'm sure there's a lot of people tuning in that don't really even know what 11.7, like what it references. I mean, if you're not really a college baseball person, you're like, what in the world would that mean? But just the overall podcast, kind of the subject matter, and how you got started with it. I'm curious, how did it come up for you?
Yeah, so I graduated and played baseball at Mercer University, just an hour south of Atlanta. And when I graduated, I was like, man, I wish there was a way that, I could get some college baseball information, not by scouts, just by normal people. I had a couple friends that were into college baseball, and we would talk every once in a while. And so 2018 rolled around, and I was like, shoot, I'm going to start a podcast and just talk and see how it goes or whatever. And so me and my best friend since I was 8 years old, James Berry, started it. And first couple episodes, and Chris, you've been through this too, probably had like 15 listeners, 20 listeners. Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. And we're like, should we shut this down? And we're like, no, we're having fun.
Right.
So about 3 weeks into the season, one day I looked at the podcast ratings, and we were the #1 college baseball podcast. And I was like, no way. And I looked, and we had like 650 listeners for that one episode. And I was like, holy crap, James, we might be onto something. And so kind of how we got the name was 11.7. We wanted something unique to Division I college baseball. And if you're not aware, that's how many scholarships were allotted, even though I think personally it needs to be at least double. Double.
That's 11.7 is absurd.
It's for 35 guys.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it's just unbelievable. But so we wanted to make it like a lighthearted show where we're not talking numbers, we're not crunching numbers, we're just visualizing the game, seeing what's going on, and talking about it because we both had Division I baseball experience. And it's kind of grown into something. I mean, obviously it's not huge or anything, but we're getting about 2,000, 2,500 downloads an episode. And I think it's cool just because we got our own little community in there of players, former players, and parents that just sit back and listen to us just ramble on about, what umpire was the worst on the weekend, or, talking about certain ejections or walk-on baseball players. It's just the little things that we do that kind of separates us, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like you guys have probably found a really great niche because, again, no disrespect to the guys at like D1 Baseball. Again, Kendall
they do
and
a
Aaron.
Great job.
Yeah, Kendall and Aaron I both had on my show, and we'll plan on having them back on again. But, again, it's kind of like with what I do with the South Carolina content. It's like people just want to be able to say just like you're having bar talk, just dudes hanging out like you're hanging out in the clubhouse. You know what I mean? So I definitely think you guys have done a great job because obviously I tune in, I've listened to shows. Have you guys dropped the podcast, by the way, breaking down the backyard baseball characters and what schools they go to?
We have not, but that's going to be on tonight's episode.
That's
going to be on tonight's episode.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of debate stirred up from that.
Let me ask you this, Chris. If there was a backyard baseball character that committed to South Carolina, who would it be?
Well, let me pull up the graphic so I can reference because I want to.
I have an idea.
I will say this: the I guess I tried to take the easy way out when I said that. Hold on, let me get it pulled up. What's the? Here we go. When I said Pablo Sanchez gave me like Adrian Morales vibes, but I feel like that's just such a cop out. I looked at it and I was trying to think. I was like, which character would it be?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like honestly, like maybe Ahmed Khan. I don't know. I was
going to say Ahmed Khan is one, but there was one that I saw and I was like, who's just like a fundamentally sound player that's not going to do anything spectacular, not going to be a first-round draft pick, but is going to produce.
Dude, honestly, Ernie Steele gives me JBJ vibes.
1,000%.
Great minds.
That was
great
it.
Minds?
That was it. I was like, who's going to be patrolling center field, probably a third or fourth round draft pick, and is going to make an impact in the major leagues? And I was like, Ernie Steele.
Dude, Jackie Riley Jr. is Ernie Steele. Ernie Steele is Jackie Riley Jr.
1,000%. I mean, that was as easy as it could be.
Yeah, you have it for the podcast now.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your baseball journey, man. Like I said, I think that's one of the reasons, obviously, we get along so well, and we probably love each other's content is, we're baseball guys. I mean, I played at Newberry, a little D2 school in South Carolina, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and you played at Mercer, and it's kind of crazy. I see some of your tweets about I guess Kyle Lewis was your roommate?
Yeah, Kyle Lewis was my roommate. Yeah.
Dude, his baseball card's like $1 zillion right now on eBay.
I know. I missed out.
It might be more popular for like the baseball cards, and like it's crazy. Like this dude's card is just blown up. But like, just talk a little bit about your baseball journey. I mean, I'll give you the floor. Obviously, again, you played at Mercer, and from what I've seen, you had a pretty good career there. I'm pretty sure the Mercer baseball account made a baseball card for you, which I was very jealous.
I might have had to pull some strings for that one.
Yeah,
but
you probably know some people that know some people. But no, just your baseball journey, man. Just kind of what got you in the game, and I mean, obviously, you're a guy that loves the game, no question. So.
For sure. So I can go back to around when I was like 10 years old was when I decided I wanted to play college baseball, and I didn't care what level; it didn't matter. But I went to probably 15 Rice baseball games growing up. I'm from Houston, Texas. And obviously not an athlete whatsoever. I was just blessed with the ability to hit the ball hard from the left side of the plate. And I knew what my strengths were. And I knew what my weaknesses were. And so I practiced hard. I was overweight for a long portion of my youth, but overweight meant I had some power. So growing up throughout high school, I had a pretty good high school career. And about 6 weeks before my senior season, I was getting recruited pretty heavily, like some local Texas schools, D1s, D2s, JUCOs. And then I got mono. And so when I got mono, I dropped 25 pounds. I was like 170 and just not in good shape. So I played when I got mono, my recruiting journey was pretty much halted until.
And where are you from, by the way? Not to cut you off. Where are you from originally?
Houston, Texas.
Okay, yeah, that's right, Houston. Okay, my bad.
Houston, Texas, yeah. And so some of these schools just stopped talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, whatever. Got to prove myself. And so I got my weight back up, had a pretty good senior season. And I ended up committing to a small Division I school in Tennessee called Tennessee Martin.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went there. I got some more offers after my senior season, but I stayed true to my commitment. And I played at UT Martin. And Chris, I'm not kidding. We were the third worst team in Division I baseball. We were ranked 298 out of 301. We went 9-43. I had
9-43.
9-43, Chris.
Oh my God.
And it was an ugly 9-43.
Yeah.
And so our head coach got fired like 2 weeks before school started in August. So we had an interim coach, and it was just it was a slop fest. Like just no rules, no nothing.
Right.
And so we got a new head coach coming in, and I decided to leave. I had a really good season there. Fun fact, I was a freshman All-American. So have that on the resume. Had a good season.
Nice. Attaboy.
And so I just went and I was like, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go play junior college baseball with my best friend James at Blinn College. And
JUCO Bandit.
JUCO Bandit. And that was probably my favorite point in my career. It was just waking up, living, sleeping, breathing baseball. Classes didn't matter. It was a joke. Yeah. And so I played full season at Blinn, got recruited by Mercer University, and I ended up taking a visit over there in late May while they were in the right after they got done playing Florida State in a regional.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, it's 303 feet to right field. I'm a left-handed hitter. Like, this is going to be my spot. So I ended up signing there and played 2 seasons there and got to witness the Golden Spikes Award winner, Kyle Lewis, my roommate, just tear it up. And after I graduated from Mercer, I was kind of just looking for a job in baseball and decided to start the podcast up.
Did you have I mean, obviously you had pro aspirations, but did it ever like
Chris? Not a shot.
Not
a shot. I mean, I was very self-aware. Nobody was looking for a 6'1", 220-pound first baseman to go in the draft. So, I mean, I was very self-aware, and I knew I wasn't athletic enough, but I kind of cut those dreams short about 3 seasons into my college career. So
hey, don't worry. Nobody when I came out was looking for a left-handed pitcher that threw 80 miles an hour. So believe it or not, right? So what years were you at Mercer again?
So I was only there 2 years. I was there in 2016 season and 2017 season.
Okay. So your college career though spanned from what, 13 to
14 to 17.
Okay. Yeah. So a little bit after, because I wanted to ask you and get your take on. Because, again, obviously with what I do, Gamecock baseball, right? Just your overall take on Carolina baseball. We'll tie this back into USC. Because obviously you see I'm rocking the vintage national championship 2010. I had to do it. But,
I was a huge South Carolina baseball fan in high school.
Really?
Because that was when they peaked, back-to-back finals appearances, 2 College World Series titles. I mean, they were the best players in Houston were trying to go to South Carolina to play.
Wow. Yeah, that's really what, wanted to lead to is just kind of your overall knowledge of Gamecock baseball, memories, experiences. Because obviously, I could go on for days. But, yeah, man, Ray Tanner had that thing humming. I mean, really ever since he got there in 97. And, I mean, from 98 to, when he retired, I mean, Gamecock baseball, top 5 program. They were looked at as like how a Vandy's looked at right now.
For sure.
Or a Florida's looked at. And I was curious from, obviously you being in Houston, but Gamecock baseball is doing what they were doing in Omaha. I mean, crazy, man. There's some studs on those teams, no doubt.
I have a funny story about South Carolina baseball. So me and my travel baseball team from Houston played in that Atlanta World Baseball, whatever, World Wood Bat Baseball, whatever it's called. And opening night, we're playing against I forget the guy's name, but he was from Virginia. He was a pitcher, and he was committed to South Carolina. And so we're 7 p.m. on Field 1 in Atlanta at whatever field that's called. I forget.
Was it Tyler Johnson?
It could have been. He was throwing
righty. Was he a righty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then it had to be because we just had Johnson. And he's a Virginia guy.
Throwing fuzz. And meanwhile, my team from Houston's all pumped because South Carolina's assistant coaches are there watching them, and we're like, hey, we hit a homer against them. We go 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. Like we got a shot to get there. And there was probably 100 major league scouts, and it didn't matter. We were focused on the South Carolina recruiting coordinator. We're trying to show that guy what's up. Not the MLB scouts. We don't care about them right now. We want to go to South Carolina. So, but I mean, that was back when South Carolina was peak form, like you said, like kind of like a Vanderbilt. I kind of look at South Carolina baseball now as, I'm gonna use a little analogy here, but kind of like Madden, the football game. Peaked in 2010, 2011, 2012, must have. And now it's just kind of the same thing year in, year out.
Now I'm taking offense because this year's Madden was trash.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying South Carolina is going to be trash.
That's
but I'm just saying 2009 to 2012.
In comparison to the glory days.
Exactly. Yeah. That's peak South Carolina baseball. Yeah. And now it's like, it's a good game. I'm going to buy it every year for sure. I'm going to buy it. But I'm not going to play it as much as what I used to play it.
that sounds like Gamecock athletics at this point.
Yeah.
I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to buy it, but I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not going to enjoy it. No, seriously. I want to get your take too. This is kind of an interesting question, but you being from Houston, being in the state of Georgia, again, you obviously probably have, I don't want to say biases, but SEC baseball, like you said, it's hard not to like really, because that's where the best baseballs play. Bottom line, just
and the best fans too. We got to appeal to the best fans.
Oh, and I saw you guys on social media on Twitter with the Mississippi State Arkansas stuff.
Stirring the pot a little
going
bit.
Back and forth. The players are getting into it. You got to love that. But I'm biased in the sense where I say Carolina Clemson baseball is the best rivalry in college baseball.
1,000%.
No questions. I was going to say, change my mind. If are there other, because like I try to think off the top of my head, like what are other great college baseball rivalries? And I mean, you can think of a few, but man, Carolina Clemson just
off the top of the head, it's Carolina Clemson. The 3-game series,
especially when you think about
and then floor field,
the games in Omaha. Like I think that's what makes a difference, bro.
Yeah. What was it? 2011 or 2012?
It was. I was gonna say it was 2010 when they beat them twice. It was 2010 when they beat them twice. And the thing that made that so special was they did that exact same thing in 2002. Just
really? With Khalil Green and them on Clemson.
Crushed them, dude. Crushed them. And then 2010, same exact thing. And it's been wild, man. Like I've had like Blake Cooper on, and man, Blake Cooper's comments on that series. He was like, I knew Clemson didn't want to play us. They did not want to play us. And he's like, we went out there and
they were the little brother, 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Clemson football now and South Carolina football.
Yeah.
That's how it was in baseball back then.
Yeah. I mean, you think back to that 2010 from that point on run, like, again, I love getting the take of like a neutral fan. Yeah. That's like the craziest run ever. And they won I think 22 straight postseason games. Like just from
they should have won three titles in a row.
The randomness of baseball, like the fact that even happened is just.
I don't know if it'll ever happen
insane.
again.
I don't think how could it? How could it?
Unless like Vanderbilt just continues what they're doing, maybe. But I don't know. Another crazy part about college baseball, and it doesn't have to do with South Carolina, but I think it was 2013, 2014, 2015 when Vanderbilt and Virginia matched up back-to-back years in the finals. Like that might not ever happen again either. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's a good point. Hey, we'll move to the current landscape of baseball. Do you have any familiarities with Mark Kingston, or like are you like? Had you heard of him before he got the job at Carolina?
Oh, for sure, 1,000%. Because he was at like South Florida and Tulane. I think he was the recruiting coordinator, and there was another school that he was
at Miami. He won a
Miami,
College World Series title, I think, with whatever. He was on that College World Series team with Miami. I'm just curious because obviously, again, this is a big year for Mark Kingston coming in. I think his fourth season. You had a super regional, missed the postseason, and then COVID season, which I think last year's Carolina baseball team, I think they were hitting their stride right going into SEC play, which obviously sucked for us all. I know, obviously, specifically you guys covering college baseball, but we already talked a little bit, but we'll dive into it. Overall thoughts on Carolina baseball. Again, I'm not asking you to go down the roster, 1 through 37 or how many guys they got right now, but like you said, I think it's very. It's very evident where South Carolina baseball fits in right now, but I think they're getting back to where they were. I think they're getting closer. And again, it's really tough because I tell fans like, hey, Carolina might go 500 in the SEC this year and be really, really good. Like
we actually talked about that on the last podcast, how I would rather see a team go 500 in the SEC than go 5 or 6 games above in the ACC. Yeah. And it's just like, that's the way my mindset works. And so going back to last season, I thought that South Carolina team proved a lot of people wrong because I saw some preseason predictions where they were projected to finish last or second to last in the SEC. And that's just not what team they were. I mean, they had the starting pitcher 1-2 punch with Mulzinski and remind me of the guy's name.
Yeah, Thomas Farr.
Yeah.
And then you had Jordan in the Sunday. They had a good rotation last
year. Good rotation. And
they
had something that they had last year that they didn't have in previous years was a good mix of speed and power. So they had guys that were stealing bases. A couple of guys, I forget their names. I'm not good with.
Noah Myers. But I was going to say you also had the SEC's home run leader, Wes Clark. Well, had 8 at the break.
I was about to get to Wes Clark. Wes Clark besides maybe like obviously Spencer Torkelson and Craig from Wake Forest and a couple other guys, I thought he was probably the best pure power bat in the college baseball.
Right.
I mean, the ball just explodes off his bat, and so I thought they had enough last year to go above 500 in the SEC, which anytime you go above 500 in the SEC, you got a good chance to host a regional. So it's a shame that season didn't play out, but I was looking down the roster before the show here today, and I do like the mix of JUCO bandits that they have this year.
Dude, Kingston has crushed JUCO.
And that's the way you have to do it in SEC.
Especially early. I think especially early when, man, college baseball recruiting, it's so ridiculous, like how early it starts. And I think – and you look at South Carolina as a whole, they've done very well, even going back to Tanner, even going back to those 10, 11, 12 teams, they've done very well with JUCO guys.
And the best part about recruiting JUCO-wise in college baseball is it gives you a chance to get old fast and stay old for the long period. Because those JUCO guys will come in, they'll play every day, and you got the freshmen and sophomores competing for jobs underneath them. And by the time they become juniors and sophomores, there's a whole new juniors and seniors, there's a whole new freshman and sophomore class behind them. And it's an opportunity to get old fast and stay old. So if those JUCO guys this year have a big impact, you're going to be able to see this team, be very, very good for a long period of time.
Yeah. And this team this year, I was going to say preseason ranked 18th in the D1 baseball top 25, picked to finish 3rd in the East. I'll ask you, is that too high, too low, overrated, underrated, like right in the right spot? Like what's your overall take on those rankings and where they're getting picked to finish?
I'm a big believer that preseason polls don't mean anything, right?
Right.
Like it's fun to look at, but if
gives us something to talk about. Gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, it gives you something to talk about. But if I was a coach, being ranked in between like 12 and 20, somewhere in there is exactly where I want to be to start the season. You don't have these high expectations that you have to fill, but at the same time, it gives your guys on the team something like, hey, yo, we are pretty good. You know, we're going to be able to compete with these guys and have something to prove. So I think third in the East, though, is right about where I think they're going to finish. Obviously, I think Florida is the best team in the country. And, you know, those guys, if they stay healthy, are going to be
their lineup is just stupid.
It's stacked. And the pitcher, I mean, their starting rotation is probably the best in the country besides Vanderbilt. I think third is a good spot to be to. I think it's good enough to host a regional. And once you get into postseason play, it's all about winning one game at a time. So, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, preseason rankings, I don't think.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's 18th is high enough to feel good about yourself, but low enough to have a chip on your shoulder.
1,000%.
I don't know if you saw this, and I tell people this is why I love South Carolina baseball so much. Kingston was asked about that. He said, quote, "I'm not going to blow these expectations out of proportion. The expectation here is to win a national championship. We make sure guys know what the expectations are here. We want to go to Omaha. We want to win a national title. I want our guys to feel like number 18 is underrated for us right now." So there you go.
Yeah. But it's still high enough where they're like,
right. You know, you have a good squad.
Yeah.
You know, you're not a top 20 team on accident. You got some pieces. You got a good squad. Yeah, like I said, we can talk about just the whole national landscape of college baseball. Because again, like you mentioned, Florida, Vandy, those are really going to be the talks of the town when it comes to, you know, the national landscape. Again, it's crazy. You hate to leave out the other conferences because I think of like Louisville, Miami, like they're some really good teams. But dude, you just go down the list of the SEC teams like Florida, Vandy, Arkansas, Mississippi State, LSU. I mean, it's just we could have an all SEC College World Series.
You really could, and it wouldn't surprise me one year if it actually happens.
Yeah, it's like the SEC tournament.
Yeah, like a couple of years ago, I think there was 8 SEC hosts, and they were all matched up where there was a chance if they all ended up winning, they were going to be in the College World Series. But I don't think it ended up playing like that. But if you go look at the SEC as a whole, right, there's not one weekend that you can take off. Maybe Kentucky this year. I don't think they're going to be as good. But you look at like the bottom of the SEC, you got teams like Auburn and Texas A&M and Missouri who, if you blink, they could beat you 2 out of 3 in a weekend.
Dude, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy you say like Auburn because they were so good like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
what's the College World Series 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, they were nasty.
And so it's crazy to like. I know that there's going to be some ACC fans probably listening to this and Big 12 fans because they have some good teams in those conferences. But I mean, you just can't match weekend for weekend what the SEC has to bring in college baseball. I mean, it's probably equivalent to like a high A baseball season, like professionally. And so that's why every year you see 4, 5, 6 SEC teams hosting super regionals and 4 or 5 of them getting to the College World Series.
Yeah.
And
who are the teams outside of the SEC landscape that you're highest on? I mean, they're like, you know, if we're not talking SEC, like I said, give love to all of the other conferences. I mean, who are the teams for you personally that jump out? Yeah,
Texas Tech is one for sure. I like Texas Tech this year. I definitely like teams like UCLA. They're good year in, year out. I think
is Texas back, by the way? I see they're ninth. Hey, is Texas back?
We talked about that on the first episode this year. I think they are, man. I think what David Pierce has going on over there is just unbelievable. And the thing with Texas, though, is every year they get these high expectations, and then about halfway through the season, I feel like their players and coaches are like, man, we let them down. We let them down. And there's always just a negative vibe with Texas baseball, just because their expectations every year is so high. But I think Texas will probably compete for a Big 12 championship. Texas Tech, we've seen in Omaha probably for the last 6 years, something like that. You got Louisville, who I think is going to be very good this year in the ACC. Miami was young last year and the year before that, and they had a lot of success. So let me try to think. Big Ten wise, I mean, maybe Michigan, we'll see. But I think that good class that they had, everybody's left so far. And then besides that, like we got some mid-majors that I think are going to be pretty solid this year, like Coastal Carolina, obviously. I barely even count them as a mid-major.
East Carolina.
Carolina is always good.
How about UC Santa Barbara at 11th? That's just like –
Santa Barbara was nasty last year. So Santa Barbara had a cool thing happen to them 2 years ago where they were projected to host a regional, right? And in order to host a regional, you have to have lights at your stadium, and they've never had lights there. And so they went in and put lights up just in case they hosted a regional, and now they think they're still up. So,
jeez, love that. Love that. Switching gears a little bit, best baseball venue you've ever been to, college, whether player, fan, whatever. Like, what's the best? Because again, I know we were joking off air a little bit. Obviously, the shit hit the fan with the Mississippi State and the Arkansas people. Had just that, man. Again, like you said, what makes the SEC? Man, the fan bases are just like wild for baseball. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But some of your favorite venues you've been to.
Yeah, so I got a chance to play at Ole Miss and Vanderbilt my freshman year at UT Martin, and that was a blast. Even for 2 midweek games, I mean, the fans showed up, they heckled us. It was a great time. But as far as just going to, like, as a fan, Texas A&M is unbelievable, and then Mississippi State, I think, is the king of college baseball stadiums. I went
the dude, man.
The dude
is crazy.
I went second weekend of the season after they opened it. My little brother was a part of the Southern Miss baseball team, and I went and watched them play a weekend series against Southern Miss. And the fans there are unbelievable. They're just super, super welcoming. They know they're the best, and the stadium itself is better than most minor league baseball stadiums.
And it's crazy because I flaunt Founders Park, but man, it's you. I mean, their facilities just you can't deny it. You know, it's Founders Park on steroids. Like,
well, so I've been to Founders Park. I actually took a tour of it. Let's see, it was the January that I started the podcast with James back in 2018, and they were there was a preseason scrimmage going on. And dude, I love the location of that. You got like was it like a river behind it or something?
Yeah, the river. Yep,
river behind it, and it's not too far away from anything else. Like within walking distance of some good spots. So I loved it, man. It was awesome. You could tell that they've poured some money in there since they won the College World Series. It's a great venue.
Well, it's funny because I used to, obviously I loved Sarge Fry Field. I think most people did. And I'm like, when I heard they were getting a new stadium, I was like, why? Sarge is so awesome. And like I said, you walk into Founders Park and you're like, oh, this is why.
Exactly.
I bring that up, man, because I was thinking about it. I'm actually, I guess most people don't know this. And by the way, South Carolina plays Mississippi State this year, but it's in Columbia, unfortunately, because I'd on my bucket list for sure to take a trip there. But April 16th through 18th, and again, I really haven't told anybody this, at LSU, I'm going to be heading down to Baton Rouge.
Are you really?
Taking all 3 at Alex Bach. Yeah, my sister lives down there, and that's why I went down there for the football game and kind of kill 2 birds with one stone. Flights are cheap, so I'm like, dude, I'm taking advantage. Let's go. Alex Bach, man, what a legendary venue that is, and their fans are something else too. But we got to talk about, again, March, I think it's March 5th. Let me get the dates here. March 5th through the 7th, the Mercer Bears are coming to town.
And I'll be rolling up there with you.
Yeah, we'll definitely have some fun content planned for that weekend and stuff like that. And obviously, man, hey, the couch is yours if you want to crash. But I feel like we're going to have some kind of friendly wager on that. Because, I mean, if you want to go ahead and Venmo me right now, because there's no way Mercer's taking 2 out of 3. I'm sorry.
Hey, you better watch out for the Mercer Bears, man. I think they had the longest winning streak of the season last season. I think they started 11-0 or 12-0.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Hey, they got some talent.
So they got a squad. They got a
squad. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Went to a regional, let's see, 2018, they went to a regional down in up in Georgia, actually, and played against like Georgia and Florida Atlantic and Florida State. So that was when they were all freshmen. Now they're juniors. They're gonna be good this year.
Yeah, and I know we all can't wait, man. Like I said, 18 days away when this show's dropping, at least, which will be on Monday. 18 days away. Can't wait. I think it's crazy, man. I'm just looking down the schedule. Second weekend of the season, Carolina Clemson. So.
Are you serious? Second weekend?
Second
you guys
weekend.
had like Dayton first, right?
Yeah, Dayton for 3, Tuesday game with Winthrop, and then February 26th through 28th at Clemson, Greenville, and then Founders Park for the final game.
So
then you got at Winthrop and then Mercer the next weekend.
So Floor Field is going to be that Saturday game, right?
Yeah. So they're actually, what they're doing right now, they're doing like this year will be Greenville. Next year we'll come back to Columbia and do Seeger Park, which is the Fireflies.
Oh, yeah.
But, the reason that they started doing that is because South Carolina's just been losing the Greenville game like every year. And enough fans complain where they're like, it definitely kind of feels like a second home game because Greenville is literally the biggest hub for Clemson alumni is Greenville.
Yeah.
It's not that far. So I'm biased, but I'd love to see him move to North Augusta, my hometown. They've got a
the Green Jackets new field.
Yes, they got a fantastic park that I think would do a great job hosting it. So I don't know. Maybe.
I love how they do that series though, and I wish more teams would do that with the home, and then a neutral site.
It's such a super regional vibe. I mean, it is like you're obviously with covering it, man, like you're locked into the game, but like what it feels like to hang on every pitch.
Exactly.
Like every pitch is like the last pitch.
And you can feel momentum swings every single pitch too.
There's nothing worse, honestly, than being in the stadium, because I've gone to all 3 games the last 2 seasons, or 3 seasons, actually. 3 seasons. There's nothing worse than being in the building when their team gets a big RBI and you're just like, you feel that pit in your stomach, like shit. That was that might
snowball. Yeah,
that was that moment.
Snowball.
But I will say there's also no feeling like I was there in 2019 when South Carolina won at Clemson, the Friday night game at Clemson, when Brett Carey came in and shoved.
Yes, I do remember
basically
that.
Made his debut, the welcome to the party, Brett Carey. But there's no better feeling than beating them in their house. Oh God, dude, one of the top moments.
I could just see the smile on your face. It means something.
And then you end up taking 2 out of 3 and all that. I'll ask you again, switching gears a little bit, just about the game of baseball in general. Before we came on, obviously, I sent you over this awesome stat spreadsheet. Are you a big analytics guy? I mean, are you? Because again, I know you're a little bit younger than me, but analytics has really taken off the last couple of years. And I know that, like, when I played, I mean, you never thought about spin rate and just throw the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you have
Try
a good
to throw
breaking
it as
ball,
hard as you can.
if you have a good breaking ball, you have a good breaking ball. I don't need to know spin, but now it's spin rate and launch angle. God, just everybody pounds that in your head. Launch and Kingston's very analytical. Whereas, like, again, Ray Tanner, and it just wasn't in that era of baseball. What's your thoughts on analytics? Because again, obviously, it's taken baseball by storm.
Right. So I'm not going to say that I'm a firm believer in analytics. Like, obviously, I think there's a good place for it in baseball. And I do think that it has been overused to a certain extent, getting the human element out of the game, which I completely disagree with. But as far as like the ideology, I can't pronounce that word.
The ideology.
There we go. Thanks, Chris. The ideology,
not an English major.
Yes, no, but the philosophies behind it, I really can get a part of. And so I love the fact that, teams are trying to hit the ball in the air more. They're trying to, hit the ball their hardest when fastballs are coming, and hunting pitches in certain counts and getting data and correlating that to the players and letting them make their own decisions. So, like, for example, all the way growing up, I had hitting coaches telling me, low and hard the other way, like hit the ball low and hard the other way. And every once in a while, your swing will get there and you'll pull it up in the air. And like, I bought into that, obviously. And I was like, okay, like that's a good way to think. So in batting practice, I'm hitting like ground balls to shortstop, like, and I'm just like, this sucks. Like, what am I doing here? Like, this isn't my swing. And so I wish I would have known more about like launch angle and getting your bat in the right position and keeping it on plane as long as possible. And so those are the things I kind of agree with. I was never a pitcher, so this is probably going to mean more to you. But as far as like spin rate and finding out how your pitch works, getting to the plate, like, does it rise a little bit? Does it have sink to it? Yeah. Is your changeup, elite amongst people your age? Curveball versus slider, which one works better for you? That's the kind of stuff that I fall in love with, because I'm so foreign to it that I'm not attached to certain things. I never did anything with it. But as far as like, if I was a pitcher and I found out that my four seam has a spin rate and it actually rises a little bit to the plate, I would just ditch my 2-seam fastball and just stick with that. And that's what a lot of guys in the major leagues are doing. Guys like Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole throwing 2 seams their whole life. And they're like, that doesn't work. Yeah. Like, my 4-seam is my effective fastball. So, but to answer your question, I look at stats. I look at the advanced stats as far as like on base weighted plus and that kind of stuff. But like, it doesn't mean too much to me. I like the human element of the game of, can this guy get the job done? Can he perform at a high level?
Like, could you ever envision, like, people have suggested like robotic umpires or whatever?
Yeah, no.
Like, God, that would no, just, I mean, that is
no.
And then, I feel like every couple of months we see these stupid ideas. How can we improve the game? How can we get more people to watch? If you don't like baseball, you're not going to watch it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, just because I saw something that was like, let's move the mound back. I'm like, oh my God.
Could you imagine like the injuries that would come along with that?
I mean, what? Come on. Get out of here.
You think adding a robot umpire is going to bring tens of thousands more fans? Like, no shot.
or like the one that I thought was stupid, which you might disagree with this, but the 3-batter minimum. Like,
I was just about to bring that up.
Like, no more lefty specialists. No, I mean, that's just like, let the strategy be the strategy. Just because you shorten the game by 12 minutes, it doesn't mean that people are going to watch now. You know,
it's like trying to change the rules of chess. It's like, all right, your knight can only go 2 spaces instead of 4 because it's going to speed the game up. And it's like,
I will say though, let guys pimp home runs. Let them bat
1,000%.
You know, this might sound crazy because again, I was a pitcher, but like I get it in the heat of the moment because again, I've been there. I mean, I've thrown at a guy. Bottom line, but when we've if you've pitched, you've thrown at a guy at some point. But like, I just don't like. I think it's stupid. Like, kind of like almost like the ego of baseball, where it's like, oh, you pimped one. Now I got to throw at this dude's head. It's like, come on, man. Like, just strike him out. Like, I don't know. I don't. You know, and then you know, I talked to a guy. It's like, yeah, you have to empty out of the bullpen when that happens, or they're going to fine you. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
so stupid.
This is so dumb. Like,
it's so petty.
Yeah, it's so petty. Yeah. It's so petty.
But I agree with the pimping the home runs and stuff, man. You got to do it.
What's the guy with the White Sox? Is it Tim Howard or whatever? Is that his name?
Tim Beckham.
Beckham. Yeah. He's been doing that a lot. I mean, yes.
It's good for the game, man. It
flair,
grows the game.
Baseball needs personalities. It needs personalities.
It really does.
That's how you get them.
Yeah. You want something to go viral on Twitter. Like, what do you think? Like, you know, pimping a home run or like hitting a home run and putting your head down and sprinting to first base. It's like, it's not even a question. Like, let them enjoy it.
One of the clips I put out, Gamecock baseball clip was, and I doubt people even remember this, but Brady Allen hit a home run at Tennessee. I mean, again, I'm just watching on the stream, whatever, like the rest of us, but Brady Allen hit a homer at Tennessee, and it was one of those bat flips where he swung and he threw it like a tomahawk or whatever. I mean, and I was like, dude, this pitcher just needs to hang the cleats up.
Yeah,
you're done. You're done. Like, how the pitcher did not like bull rush him for that. I don't know. I don't know. But no, I kind of fall the same way you do, man, with the analytics. Like, I think it's important. You need to be able to recognize the data and accept the data for what it is and make adjustments off the data. But also, like, you know, if I was evaluating a manager or a coach like Kingston or whatever, having that baseball instinct.
It's all about instinct.
You have to have it because
gut feeling and instinct.
You hear stories of Ray Tanner, man. It was just like one of those things. Like, you know, we talk about the baseball gods. Like Tanner was the baseball god.
Yes.
He if he said it wasn't going to rain, it wasn't. Bottom line. I mean, I've had guys literally tell me stories like, dude, we had like 100% chance. He's like, no, we're going to play. Sure enough, he's like, if he says it, and I mean, literally, I'll tell you this story. So you probably remember the Super Regional at Coastal Carolina when Christian Walker hit the big 3-run homer, whatever.
I'm pretty sure he pimped that home run too. I remember watching it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I literally got him on the show actually like 2 years ago. Great conversation. I mean, obviously a big leaguer. Hell, he hit a home run off Clayton Kershaw. So not many guys can say that. But yeah, I forget who it was I had. I don't know if it was Christian or I think it was Bobby Haney maybe. I don't know. Whatever. But basically, in the dugout during that inning, he was telling the guys, all right, here's what's going to happen. Jackie's going to get on. We're going to bunt him over to second. Christian's going to come up, hit a home run. We're going to take the lead. Like, he literally, and it happened exactly like he said it. Like, well, he just knew. He just knew.
My question is, why is he bunting him over if he knew Christian was going to?
Well, I don't know if that's the exact scenario. It was like, we're going to steal with Jackie, whatever. Yeah. But it's just like every little thing, he broke it down. I mean, just the greatness of Tanner, man. The greatness of Tanner.
Yeah. So, hey, Chris, so I know I'm on your show right now, but I have to ask you some questions. I'm going to go to you for sure. Questions now.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think the listeners are going to like this. So I'm going to start with an easy one of which is your favorite South Carolina uniform? Like, if you had to wear one the rest of the time, what would it be?
You have to go with Friday Night Pins. You just
Friday Night Pins.
You have to. I mean, I love the Yankee Grays. And I will say, I think I don't know if you've probably followed me long enough. Like, I am a big uniform guy.
Yeah, I know you are.
Bro, it killed me for a while that South Carolina was wearing, they got the garnet tops and the black tops that have, the garnet tops with black writing, black tops with garnet writing, which I think is probably our most underrated uniform. Like, those black jerseys are fire.
Yes.
And I will say this, the new black throwback pins or whatever, the white with the black pinstripes with the SC, interlocking SC on the front.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that they released last year. Those are sick. But it killed me when they were wearing those tops and they were wearing the wrong hat. Like, they were wearing they'd wear the black top with the garnet writing, and they wear a black hat with white SC when they have a garnet. I'm like, oh my God. It's just like the little things. I'm like, dude, we literally have a hat. Same way with garnet. And then the thing that killed me too, bro. I mean, every team has like, these are our Fridays, these are our Saturdays, these are our Sundays. Maybe you mix up the Saturday, Sunday. Most team has a Friday uni. Most teams do. Kingston's first year. I mean, unforgivable, dude. South Carolina was wearing their Friday night pins on a Tuesday. And I'm like, no,
you cannot do that.
No, bro, that is such like a bush league. Like, just
midweek games are made for the alternate uniforms. Like, that's a rule of college baseball. You wear your cool like alternate uniforms on midweeks.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to say the Friday night pins. I mean, I love the Yankee grays, but are you more of a traditional uniform guy or like a crazy like what Vandy does, like with the camo, or like Mississippi State? You know, they got the all black. Like, are you more traditional or like the crazy unis?
I'm a very big traditional guy. I like whites, and then every once in a while, if the team looks good in them pinstripes. I'm a big gray baseball fan. I think baseball is getting away from it. You see a lot of teams now, especially in Major League Baseball, where like the alternate colored uniform with gray pants on the road. I just like the pure grays. And I thought South Carolina, that's why I brought up the question.
Yankee grays.
The Yankee grays, when they were winning College World Series, was unbelievable. I loved it. And I don't think people appreciate it enough because those things are clean. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And we, believe it or not, bro, we have some fans that don't like those uniforms. I'm like, you are on drugs.
Really?
You're insane.
I'm a big fan, though, of throwback jerseys. Like the V cut.
I wish we do more. I wish we would do more throwbacks again. Bringing back those the black pins with the S, because South Carolina wore those in like the early 2000s when they were going to the College World Series, and those look really, really good with the black hat and everything. But I wish they do more throwbacks. Yeah, we have some good options too. They actually have some throwbacks with the teams in like in the 70s wore the block C on the hat. Yeah, which I think would be. I don't know.
What would your reaction be if they brought those out randomly this year?
That'd be awesome. I'd love it. I mean, because it'd be a one-off type thing. You know what I mean? Like if you need to make that like a special thing. You know, don't like people ask me about, do you like the script helmet in football? I'm like, I like it, but don't wear it every game. I don't like it that much. But yeah, you want to mix it up every now and then, whatever. But man, Carolina baseball, so they need to get back to. I mean, the rotation's good now, but it's Friday night pins. Saturday, you'll have, which for a while I wasn't a huge fan of their Saturday unit. It was the all white with the black SC before they had the throwback ones. And those were kind of just, man. But then you had the Sunday garnets, the garnet tops on Sundays. And oh, yeah. I love it, dude. Like I said, I probably complain about unis as much as I complain about anything.
Yep. I see it on Twitter.
Yes.
And
especially the baseball unis.
Yeah. And okay. So I have two more questions for you. All right. So this one might, tug at the heartstrings a little bit. But if you had to get rid of one player in South Carolina baseball history from these three that I'm about to tell you,
okay, all right,
that erased from South Carolina memories forever, who would it be? And this might be a tough one. So you have Whit Merrifield, you got Jackie Bradley Jr., and you got Michael Roth. One of those three never played at South Carolina.
I got to go JBJ.
Really?
It's actually kind of easy because, I mean, you think about it, man, like Whit walk-off hit. You cannot take that away. Roth, the impact that Michael Roth had, cannot take that away.
Probably the best story in college baseball for those 2 years.
Yeah. Jackie, I mean, obviously some Oklahoma game. I mean, you don't get there without Jackie, but I think of the three, he probably had I say least impact, like he did nothing. I mean, the guy was the freaking College World Series MVP in 20.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be JBJ for me. I love JBJ. I mean, literally, I'm still trying to get him on the podcast. I'm still DMing him like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Man, the pro guys are busy. So, but no, I'd probably say JBJ.
If I remember correctly, and I was probably only like 15 or 16 at this time, but was he a shortstop at one point? Maybe not.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I mean,
for some reason,
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
For some reason, I have memories of him playing shortstop, and they might be made up.
He played outfield the whole time. I'll tell you this story. So I went to the 2011, I want to say. Yeah, 2011 South Carolina Clemson game in Greenville. I was still at Newberry, obviously, at the time, but we had it was like spring break, quote unquote. We had that, guys were like, you want to take a road trip Tuesday, whatever. That's when Carolina Clemson were playing in the midweek.
Yeah.
They were still doing that thing. And dude, I thought I'd seen a good arm from the outfield. Like, I was like, yeah, I've seen, I played with this guy in high school, played at College of Charleston. Like, I was like, dude, he's got a cannon. Bro, watching Jackie Bradley Jr. throw the ball down from deep center on a line and like
it was made
nail the catcher in the chest. I was like, yo. I mean, he literally throws like 102 from the outfield. I mean, it's stupid, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good answer. I thought maybe you were going to go with Michael Roth, but I can see why you're just mentally.
Could never.
Perfect. And the last question for you, Chris. So what has been the coolest moment since you've started the show as far as like fan interaction? Like, have you ever just been walking down the road and someone's going like, yo, Spurs Up show, like, or Chris, what's up? Like, how do the fans or like South Carolina faithful, like, how do they treat you in public?
No, they treat me great, man. It's been awesome. Yeah. And that I mean, again, not to toot my own horn, that happens a pretty good bit. I mean, especially when you go to games, and obviously we're not going quite as much now because of COVID and everything, but, no, I mean, it's great. I mean, it happens on a pretty regular basis. I mean, I literally got business cards made for that reason, because I didn't have business cards for the longest time, because I was like, my business card is social media. But I'm like, dude, I'm meeting so many people out and about. And like, I went to 2 football games this year, and I mean, people will be like, oh, it's the Spurs Up dude, or people will know me by name or what. Like, the crazy part is when people are like, yo, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Because I mean,
cool.
Dude, I really try to take the ego out of it. You know what I mean, dude? I mean, I could go on this whole thing about like self-development and whatever, but like take the ego out. And I really think of myself like I'm just a guy that does a podcast. I mean, I'm not taking away from what I'm doing. I know my work I know it's good work, obviously, but like, I try to detach the ego from it. I'm not like, oh, I'm, whatever. But no, it's cool, man. It's a cool feeling. It's just it's a certain validation. And I'll say this though too, meeting the relationships I've been able to build with some people that have done some legendary things at South Carolina, like that is, I mean, literally getting to casually conversate with Steven Garcia and DJ Swearinger and Michael Roth and Christian Walker and guys that have done incredible things at USC. And getting to learn about them on a more personal level, like their journey, that's really what I love. That's why I do like this. That's why I do the guest interviews. I just genuinely enjoy hearing people's stories, because there's a lot of guys that, again, people just see them as, oh, that's, they're just an athlete and they did this on the field. These are their stats. But like, it's interesting when you give people the floor and it's like, how did your experience go? Because not everybody had, hey, trust me, I've talked to some guys that, and even off air, that are Gamecock legends, that you'd be surprised that their experience wasn't as great as you thought it might have been. You know what I mean? Like, but hearing the real human side is cool. But no, dude, it's a blessing, man. Like people, shouting out, saying what's up. I definitely don't take it for granted. It's wild, honestly. So
kind of like fill me in on this, because when I followed you originally on social media, you were basically a golf caddy who had a social media page that you were trying to grow. So like, how did it get to the point of like, like screw this golf caddying stuff. Like I want to take this full time. I want to do this as my passion. Like kind of enlighten me on that. Cause I'm in that same position right now with the college baseball podcast. Like,
so I was actually working in Charlotte for 4 years doing like digital marketing sales. And I would do the caddying stuff on the side. I'd done that in college and, made some pretty good money, all cash under the table, whatever, like really, good stuff, whatever.
Right.
But dude, honestly, man, it was just one of those things where I kind of felt like for a while it was something I could do, but didn't really know where to start, didn't have the platform. And then, shout out Armchair All-Americans. They were the ones that they were looking for a South Carolina writer. And I just, I'd always been big on social media. Like I always liked social media and, the inner workings of it, whatever. And found them, and they were looking for a South Carolina contributor. They're like, hey, we have a Twitter account with 30 followers and we don't have an Instagram or a Facebook, but we'll give you full creative control and, just submit 2 pieces a week. And it just for me, I was like, dude, just to have the opportunity even, I mean, like I said, when you're talking about the podcast getting 15 listens, bro, trust me. I remember in the beginning, I would write articles and an article gets submitted and posted on the website. I was literally texting them to my friends. And that's probably the only people that were reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember the days of the podcast I remember hitting 100 listeners or 100 listens. And I'm like, wow, we did something. Like,
you're like triple digits.
I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I mean, but you have to start somewhere. Like I said, I mean, just start. That's one of my favorite things to say. I mean, just that's the advice I give people when they ask me about like, what's the one piece of advice you give like a creator? And it's like, bro, just start, because you got to start from somewhere, and you're probably not going to be very good in the beginning. And I mean, the first ever episodes on YouTube, or like the first 50 episodes are on YouTube, and they're bad. They're bad. Not gonna lie.
Really? I'll have to go back and look.
They're just, I mean, they're just different. You know what I mean? Like I've really sharpened up since then. I mean, heck, I've done 371 episodes. I should have, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but you get better and you evolve and you grow. But man, honestly, it was just one of those things where, I had the platform and I mean, the biggest thing in growing, and I'd tell you this, man, honestly, is like consistency, like just consistent content creation. Because like when I started, the biggest thing was this. I was like, there might be, I'm not going to be the guy that's giving out box scores, because if they want a box score, they're going to go to ESPN, they're going to go to Gamecock Central, the Big Spur, the State, whatever. My plan was, I'm going to be opinionated, be honest, call it like I see it, whatever. But I'm going to put out so much content. I may only have, because the biggest battle you fight, right, is the credibility game on social media. Like, who wants to listen to an account with 100 followers?
Right.
Like, hard for you to break news or anybody take you seriously, right?
I've been there before.
Very hard, because they're like, who's this guy? Like, what does he know? Even if you could have all the connections in the world, but on social media in that space, you're judged based off your follower count. Bottom line.
1,000%. Yeah.
1,000%. So the way I looked at it, I was like, you know what, how I'm going to beat that? I'm just going to post so much content that it's like undeniable. Like people, I still operate that way. I mean, you probably see it. I'm like, I want even the people that don't like me, that want to have nothing to do with me, they're going to see me on their feed. You just can't help it. You just cannot help it. So no, I mean, I believe in consistent content creation and obviously, being genuine. I say being cutting edge, but just be yourself. You know what I mean? I really believe in, like, for people, like you're one person, you're a one of one. There's nobody else like Ben Upton. There's nobody else like Chris Phillips. Like, people worry about trying to be different and everything. If you're just genuine to yourself, you're going to be different, because there's nobody that's you.
It would be so hard to be somebody else for 371 episodes. Like you said, like you have to be genuine, or else it's hard to be fake for that long.
Real will always win in the end. Like, honestly, like there's been a lot of like social media, this and that. Like, honestly, bro, like I can genuinely sit here and tell you, I don't think I regret a single thing I've ever said, because maybe it wasn't right, but in that moment it felt right. It was true to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, obviously people say don't lie, because then you have to remember everything you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't live with that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I try to just keep it real 24/7. And, I just tell people in my world, when you put out as many takes as I do, especially like on Twitter, and you put out as many takes as I do, man, there's going to be one pissing somebody off, bottom line. So it would be
impossible. It would be impossible not to, you know what I mean?
And I mean, here's the thing, bro. Again, we could get into like a whole conversation on this subject, but there's plenty of Gamecock fan pages out there or whatever that they want to be doing what I'm doing, right? And they keep their stuff positive 1,000% of the time. And again, there's more than one way to do it. Like, I'm not telling people that they should run things this way or that way, but it's like, well, why are they not where we are? Because I think people like to be challenged. They don't want to agree with everything. Like, they may say they do, but they don't. Like,
they want their opinions to be heard. And the only way their opinions are going to get heard is if they think one way different than you. So like social media interaction, and I know you know this just from experience, but people only care about things that they love and things that they hate, right? And that's the way that interaction goes. And I would say 70% of the interactions we get on 11.7 are people who disagree with me or think I'm an idiot, or, this is dumb, you need to do this different, blah, blah, blah. But like, those interactions add up. And the more interactions you get, the more followers you get. And then when you have one person saying something that's wrong, you have three more saying like, no, you're wrong. And it just goes back and forth. And that's how you build a brand like what you did. So
I had a buddy of mine that works in radio. He told me that, I think he said, like, when Howard Stern was really big, the average Howard Stern fan or listener listens for, like, on average, I don't know, let's just throw out a number, an hour.
Yeah.
The average Howard Stern hater listens for like 3 hours.
They listen to the whole thing.
Right. Because they're trying to find things like pick you apart. But like,
it's like politics.
That's why I always say, though, like, when I was reflecting on 2020, like, I'm genuinely appreciative of the people that don't like me.
Yeah.
Because, like, I look at it as like, bro, there should be people that don't like me. My content, the way I go about things, it's the way you do things. It's not made for everybody. No. Some people want the cookie cutter, never going to rub you the wrong way. Hey, your show, you might shit on Carolina. If we suck, you're going to say we suck. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't want to hear that. They want to live in this little imaginary bubble. You know what I mean? And that's, you probably see that again a lot on my timeline with just, calling Carolina basketball the way it is right now. We could go on a whole thing with that. Like, it's just, some people want to live in this little safe bubble where it's like, oh, everything's great. My teams are all really good. And like, but what I'll tell you this, man, on the baseball side of things, what really irritates me, and I know it's different. I understand, like, Carolina baseball has true tradition. Like, we have tradition. Bottom line, the standard should be Omaha. I'm not saying that, but I'm like, bro, why is every other sport not held the same standard? Because, bro, if Carolina baseball misses the postseason this year, they're going to be coming after Kingston like none other. I mean, Chad Holbrook was, I'm not saying he was a perfect coach, but man, it's not like we were terrible. I mean, you're talking about a team that went to the Supers in 2014 against UNC and went to regionals and hosted, and like, it's like, why is the same energy not carried across every other
exactly?
I just don't understand it, but whatever. I think expectations are a great thing. I think
for sure.
And that's what I love Carolina baseball so much, because number one, I just do. And by the way, I'm surprised you didn't ask this, but I'll tell you this because I want to see if you recognize. I'm sure you'll know the name. My favorite Carolina baseball player of all time, though, I haven't had him on the show yet, Justin Smoke.
Oh my God, that was my idol. That was my idol.
Legend. And he got drafted to Texas. Legend, bro.
Played probably like 6 or 7 years in the majors, I'd say.
Yeah. He's playing in Japan now.
Is he really?
He signed
That's a good league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a good league. You did have one of my, I'm not going to call him a friend because I don't know him too well, but like an acquaintance, someone from my hometown. You had him on the show, Reed Morgan.
Yeah.
He's from Kingwood, Texas, just like me, and I knew his sister pretty well.
Yeah,
and
Reed's awesome, man.
Yeah,
awesome dude. Got him in studio, and just a swaggy guy, man.
Swaggy guy. I used to love watching him pitch at South Carolina too. Just fearless.
The moxie, man. He throws like he throws 100. Like that's how he cares. Which is how you got to be. I mean, man. It's there's no. I mean, I'm sure you'd agree with this, man. One of the reasons I love baseball, there is no chess match, no duel like pitcher versus hitter in sport, in my opinion. There's nothing like it.
The next closest is probably like field goal kicker versus goalpost.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the other mental battle.
Yeah, entertainment value, no doubt. So, Ben, we could go all night, man. I appreciate you, taking the time to do this. Obviously, it's like I said, people stay tuned. We've got some big things planned for when Mercer makes the road trip to Columbia. But let everybody know before you go how they can listen, because obviously, again, I know we've got a lot of listeners in here that truly, genuinely just enjoy college baseball. I mean, obviously they love Carolina baseball, but, they want to know what the SEC is doing. And you guys are obviously probably going to talk about the SEC and I'm sure South Carolina at some point, hopefully for good reasons, a lot. But, let everybody know where they can listen to you guys' show. Yeah, so we're on I think every single podcast platform like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I don't think we're quite on Google yet. We're working on it. But, we're going to be releasing a show every Sunday until the season starts, and then we're going 3 times a week like we always have been. So it'll be Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, Friday nights we'll be releasing. So we're sticking to the schedule this year. We're going to have some good guests coming on. And Chris, we got to have you on the show one of these days, probably closer to this. I'd love it. Yeah, I'd love it, man. Hey, Carolina Clemson weekend, man, if you want to do it.
Or 1,000%.
Like I said, or the Mercer week. We're going to have some fun stuff for that. I really want to make that a thing. But yeah, Ben, appreciate it, man. 11.7 podcast. Be sure to check out his show. Let's do it again soon, man. 2.5 weeks.
Whenever you need me, I'm available.
2.5 weeks. So again, he's been Upton of 11.7 podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.